All right, so I'm Naglitha Johnson, and I am standing in place of our host from last year, Tanya Easley, who we all know is in Belize with our Antioch missions trip. They're doing great things, probably even greater things than they anticipated, but more on that when they return. So I want to welcome you to our Daniel Fast cooking demonstration, where we're going to learn how to make nutritious and delicious dishes for the 21 days of the Daniel's Fast. Why are we doing this? Because we want to remove any excuses that you might have. People say, well, I can't do it because I don't want to eat lettuce every day. You will not have to, I promise you. That's why we're here. Now, before I introduce our chefs for this evening, I want to do a couple of things. One, I want to encourage you to please silence your cell phones so that they won't be distracting and all of that. So please silence those. And then I want to start by asking a really quick question, because we only have an hour for this portion, and then there's a second portion that we'll talk about in a second. First question I want to ask, though, is what is the one thing that concerns you most about engaging in the Daniel fast? What's that one thing that when you think about it, you're like, yes, ma'am. Getting enough protein. Okay. I think we'll be able to talk a little bit about that later.
Talk a little bit
Okay,
about that.
yep. Because we have a dish, I think, that will help with that.
Absolutely.
Several dishes. Okay, getting enough protein. Anybody else? What's that other thing that you're concerned about as you think about embarking upon the Daniel fast?
I could be honest, I don't want it to be monotonous.
Good job.
Were you just eating this? She said that she doesn't want it to be monotonous. Were you just eating the same thing every day? You came to the right place. You came to the right place.
Yep.
You can eat totally different foods for the whole 21 days if you wanted to. So there's no reason for you to have to eat the same thing. So now, another question. Let me answer that question myself. What is the one thing that concerns me most about starting the Daniel fast? Is all of the chopping, because, just the chopping of the onions and the chopping of the celery and all of that. Yeah, should I get pre-chopped things? I should. Yes, I should. And they are available. Huh? Oh, I got a food processor. I do. I got a food processor. But I'm just chopping. That is one of the things that concerns me with the Daniel fast. But it is a concern, but it will not deter me. It will not keep me from doing it. I'm just being honest with you. So, what is the one thing you're looking forward to when you think about this Sunday at 6 a.m. when we start the Daniel's fast? What is that thing that you're looking forward to for these 21 days? I encourage you not to say losing weight, because it is not a weight loss plan, okay? So let's take that one off the table. So what's that thing that you're looking forward to? I love it. The closeness with God. Anybody else? What's that thing you're looking for? Yes, ma'am. Commitment. I love it. Anything else anybody's looking forward to? That you can't wait, you're like, I cannot wait until 6 a.m. comes. Okay. You can tell me later.
Clean eating.
Absolutely. And of course, our prayer is that even on day 22, that we'll be so excited about all of what God has done in our bodies and in our spirits, that we'll want to continue through day 22 and forward. Couple of things. So let me stop here. Let me introduce our chef so that we can stay on time here. I left my cell phone out there. We have two amazing women who were with us last year. If you did not see the 2024 cooking demonstration for last year for the Daniel's Fast, you need to look at it. I've seen it several times. I've learned many good things from the two of you, so I thank you in advance. They are back with us again. Not only are these women great cooks and great chefs, they are people who are committed to a life of wellness and good nutrition. So they're not here just for the demonstration. They are going to share a lifestyle that they both embarked on. So they come with credibility. So who am I speaking about? LaDoris per year. Let's give it up for her. Absolutely. And LaDoris Witcher.
Dolores.
Did I say LaDoris again?
Right.
Okay. I knew I was going to get all of these rhyming names mixed up. Dolores. All right. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Now, what do we have? We have great recipes and great samples. You cannot beat that combination. Not only that, we're going to learn how to take care of all of those fruits and vegetables that I'll be chopping up. We're going to learn how to preserve them so that they'll last longer than just a couple of days, okay? So let me share with you real quickly some of the dishes that, that we'll get to see tonight. Cauliflower wings with the buffalo and the curry sauce. LaDoris is going to come to us with that. Thai coconut tofu soup. Doesn't that sound delicious? Veggie chili, harissa butter beans, portobello mushrooms with quinoa brown rice. Please don't call it quinoa, okay? Don't call it quinoa. You know you have, okay? Quinoa brown rice, sweet potato brownie loaf, and then there's also a cookie, and then a pear dessert. The thing that I like about these dishes are that they are for people like myself who just need something simple. I don't need anything complicated with 15 different ingredients. Also, we have this plant-based plates book by Jimmy Vegan that Dolores just told me about. It is not on Amazon, so please don't go there. I just checked. And it is not necessarily what we would call Daniel Fast approved, but it has some things in it that you can use. Like there's some of the dishes that might say add barbecue sauce. We know we're not doing sugar, so the barbecue sauce might have sugar, so you have to know what you can do and what you can't do. But nevertheless, this is just another of many resources. After each dish, you are welcome to ask questions. We ask that you please hold your questions until the end of the dish. Not ask too many during the time because we got to keep it rolling. You're also welcome to ask questions at the end. What else do I need to tell you? The recipes will be on the church's website. You also, if you haven't already, go look at the website and check out the resources that are there from 2024. The video from last year of the cooking class demonstration is there. The devotionals are there, recipes are there, so you can get off to a good start. And the video from tonight will also be uploaded to the church's website at some point during the weekend. Also, I think I mentioned to you about the video from last year's on the website. Devotionals are on the website. At 7 p.m. Tonight, Reverend Dr. Melvin Jones, our executive pastor, will be sharing a teaching on Daniel and the Daniel fast, okay? Don't just do the fast. Know something about Daniel himself, and let us be encouraged by his life as we go through these 21 days and beyond. Now, before LaDoris comes and shares with us these amazing cauliflower wings with the buffalo and the curry sauce, we want to give it up for our hospitality ministry that have done such a wonderful job. Sarita and so many others that are back there. We also want to give it up for our technical ministry back there, Wayne and Tony, and whoever else I might have missed. We thank you for coming. Again, I am Naglitha Johnson, doing the very best I can tonight in place of Tanya.
Great job.
Great job.
I'm excited to be here. So, hey, let's get this party started. All right?
Okay, so for the sake of time, because we do have our teaching, some of you may have seen, I started these, and basically it's just I washed the cauliflower and broke it into pieces. So I'll show you what it looks like as it's cooking, so that everybody can kind of get a view of what it looks like. And I just broke it into the little pieces, trying to imitate a wing, if you may.
It looks delicious.
Okay,
It looks
and
delicious.
so I've also done some already just for the time's sake, and they're going to be little bite-sized pieces, but they have the buffalo sauce on them. These are the curried ones. And we do have some samples in the back, and so they'll bring those out and let you
Okay.
taste those.
All right, all right, all right. Do you have a preference between the buffalo sauce and the curry?
I prefer the curry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The buffalo has a little,
Okay.
it kind of gets you in the throat back there. But if you like hot, it may be a great idea a great alternative for wings because we have the Super Bowl coming up. So maybe a
That's
great
good,
idea
that's
for
good,
that.
that's good, that's
So
good.
basically, it takes about 15 minutes on each side. So you coat them, and I coated this with some. Now those don't have any flour, but these have almond flour. These have almond flour, not those. But these have almond flour. So those who have a nut allergy, you don't want to do the curry. So I coated it with almond flour. I mixed up almond flour and water. And then I just put some seasoning in it, the curry, a little bit of jerk, a little bit of pepper, a little bit of cayenne pepper. And then I coated it to be put in the
Delicious?
delicious, very good.
Absolutely, very good.
So it's
That's good.
basically just 15 minutes, turn it over, 15 minutes, turn it over and sauce it.
Okay, okay, so it's quick.
It's very quick,
Okay.
and it's very easy. All you're doing is taking the cauliflower, washing the cauliflower, washing the cauliflower, and putting it on a tray. It's
All
very
right.
simple.
All right.
For the ones with the buffalo sauce, I just basically coated it in some olive oil.
Okay.
And I put them on the tray in a convection oven. They should be kind of crispy. So you can get them crispy, and then you put the sauce on them, and then you're done.
Okay. Can we do this in the air fryer, did you
You
say?
can also do it in the air
Okay.
fryer.
All right.
All of these recipes can be done in the air fryer.
Okay, that's
So
good.
I know a lot of people have air fryers now, so
Yeah.
it's definitely air fryer friendly.
Cool.
Okay.
Cool. Cool.
So you have the samples of those, and
right.
then when these are ready, we'll give you some samples of the cauliflower with the curry.
With the curry.
Uh-huh.
Thank you
Okay.
so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Anything else you want to share with us about these?
This is sometimes for me, I have to have something to chew. Like I need something to crunch. So
okay.
this is perfect because you can get them crispy and then you
Okay.
have something to crunch on. Kind of
Very good.
satisfying that potato chip craze.
I hear you.
It's a little crunchy.
Good.
Okay.
Okay. All right. And that seems to work
So
for
this
people
is what
who-
I did when I mixed up the batter. It kind of it's a wet batter.
Okay.
And so I just put the batter in the sauce in there and just put them in there and then just pull them out.
Okay.
Pretty
okay,
easy.
Okay. So this is for people who don't necessarily do a lot of cooking, right?
This is very
Okay.
easy. Start
right.
to finish, 30 minutes.
Okay. There you go.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, Dolores. Ladoris. Okay. Now we're going over to Dolores. What you got? You doing your Thai coconut?
We're making Thai coconut soup. And I saw a couple of grimaces when they said tofu. And I actually had a minister whose name I won't call today that told me Sunday that black folks don't eat tofu. Well, here's one person that does, and hopefully you will be
And
some.
another.
And hopefully there'll be some
And
other.
another.
And the
Yeah.
beautiful thing about tofu is that it absorbs the taste of whatever else is around it.
Absolutely.
Okay? So we're going to start this recipe by first kind of sauteing our mushrooms. You can get whatever kind of mushrooms that you prefer. It doesn't matter. You can choose portobellos, or these are just white mushrooms. And I'm adding to this some onions, and all the amounts of these ingredients are already online, right?
Okay.
So you can look at that. And I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil so we can saute these up a little bit. Yum, yum, yum. It's a good smell. And my favorite is some garlic. Now, there are some amazing benefits to tofu. Anybody have any ideas? Well, if you are a lady, you should be very familiar with tofu, especially if you fan at night. because tofu has some amazing properties. And isoflavin, I think that's what they call them, isoflavins. But anyway, it's almost like a natural estrogen. So if you're somebody who fans a lot at night, this might be a recipe that you might be interested in. Okay? So what I'm doing is just sauteing the mushrooms until they get a nice little sear on them. And we want the onions to be a little bit translucent. And so this is an easy recipe. What takes the most prep is just washing the mushrooms. Of course, you have to wash the mushrooms. And like we could talk about chopping, but you can buy some frozen onions if you want to.
You can do that.
Although I like things that are freshly chopped. That's just me and my preference. Okay? But there are choppers. Pampered Chef has a nice little chopper that you can buy. And so we're going to stir fry these nicely until they get until the onions are kind of translucent. Okay? Now,
Does it matter what kind of onion?
You can't, I would not recommend a red onion. You
Okay.
can use, my favorites are either white onions or the Vidalia onions because they're a little bit sweet, okay? And then the tofu, we're just gonna dump it over in here too. Add it to the mixture so that it can start to absorb some of that good garlic smell. Doesn't that smell good? And the tofu, if you've never cooked with tofu, it comes in a package and it has a lot of water in it. So you have to drain the water and you have to squeeze the tofu, squeeze as much water out of it as you can. And then you're going to pat it dry with some paper towels. The same with mushrooms. I've seen people cook on TV where they just dump the mushrooms out of the package. Absolutely not. Wash the mushrooms.
Gotta wash them.
And pat them dry, okay? We'll leave them out so that they can dry out a little bit. Okay, so this is smelling good. Doesn't it smell wonderful? Okay, smells good to me. Okay, all right, so now there's a bunch of different spices that we're gonna add to this, okay? And so this is quick. And the nice thing about tofu, nice thing about this recipe is it's a coconut milk, and coconut milk should be your best friend, especially if you're trying to lose some weight or if you just want to be healthier, because tofu has something that is amazing. Coconut milk has something that is amazing called medium chain, I don't know, this is smoking a little bit, medium chain fatty acids. And medium chain fatty acids are very important for health and for helping you to feel full. So this is a soup that will help you to feel kind of full. And the tofu is high in protein. So this is a high protein dish that should help you feel a little bit fuller. Okay, did this just die on me? I hope not.
Uh-oh.
No, it's still working. Okay.
It's still going?
It's on.
Okay, it's still going. All right. Okay. And so once we've gotten our onions translucent and the tofu has absorbed some of those good flavors from the onion and the garlic, we'll start adding our spices. Okay, so we're going to add some coconut oil, and I just melted it a little. Where's my coconut oil? Okay. Anyway, coconut oil. We'll add some lime juice. We add a little bit of lemongrass paste, and you can buy this at your grocery store. It's usually over near where the fresh vegetables are.
What's that last thing? I'm sorry.
Lemongrass paste. Okay. And this is you can either use red curry powder or red curry paste. I like the paste, but it comes in a large container, so if you don't use it frequently, then maybe you want to use the red tofu powder. And then a variety of seasonings from, this is one that I use a lot. This is an applewood seasoning. I like that. It gives it a nice little smoky taste. Okay, and we're going to dump our coconut milk in there. Oh, this is just dump and pour. Okay, dump the coconut milk in there. It doesn't have to be in any specific order. That's a nice thing about this. Okay, and then we have to add 3 cups full of vegetable. Make sure you get a vegetable broth because, again, we are
Not the chicken.
not the chicken. And the whole purpose of the Daniel fast is a minimally processed. You don't want foods that are processed. The less man touches them, the healthier they are. Okay, and we add a little bit of paprika and a little bit of chopped. This is some
Cilantro?
cilantro. Yep, I couldn't get it out. Some cilantro. Okay. All right, we add all those yummy things in there. And we put just a dash of some maple syrup. Okay. Add a little bit of sweetness to it. Okay.
What do y'all think so far?
And then
Okay.
I
Yum, yum.
always like, this is one of my favorite
Monica?
seasonings. Okay. This is one of my favorite seasonings too, is liquid smoke. Liquid smoke is so versatile. It gives everything a couple dashes. Okay. And we just stir it all up and let it simmer on down. And it tastes yummy. And the nice thing about this is filling. Okay. And that Tofu gives you that little crunch, and if you don't like tofu, you don't have to put it in there, but you'll be missing out on so many amazing healthy benefits of eating this, okay? The firm, and that's what it says in the recipe, and there's a difference between firm and the firm gives you that little chew, okay? Now the silken tofu is less calories, but for this recipe, it works better to have the firm tofu.
To have the firm.
That's a good question. Thanks for asking that.
Can you season the tofu, I'm gonna say like marinate it, or like whatever the word is, like season it ahead of time with some spices, just so that the flavor would like
That's possible.
really be in there?
Yeah, but it works better when you saute it with the spices. Sometimes
okay.
that seems to get the spices in there. This is not in the recipe, but this is some Thai basil, so I add a little bit of that sometime. Or if you like eggplant, you can get the Asian eggplant and chop it up, or whatever your favorite vegetables are. So you can make this your own. But this is a hearty soup, and it's on those cold days like we're going to be having next week, this would be great to have.
Say
Thai.
Thai basil.
Thai basil. Okay, so let me show you what it looks
Where
like.
would you get the Thai basil there?
At those Asian markets and places
Okay.
like that.
Okay.
And so this is kind of what it looks like.
Yeah.
It's yummy.
And
Okay.
it smells good.
Okay, so we're going to let this cook on down a little bit more.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much.
You're
Anything
welcome.
else we need to know about the coconut?
Nope. Just know that it's a healthy milk, you know, and it's healthier than all the other milks, I think.
All right. Okay. Yes, ma'am. In the carton?
Either is okay. It's whatever your preference. That was just what was available at the grocery store that I went to.
All right.
I'm pretty sure they do, but you can look at it's probably the processing of it, I would imagine.
You can go ahead and
And coconut cream. That's a good question.
go ahead and do the chili.
All right. Thank you so much, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Any questions? Any other questions? These are all great questions. Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely, you can. That's a smart thing to do. Is actually if you're doing all this prepping, like if we have something for celery, and instead of throwing out those stalks of celery, and some people even use
Carrots and
onion
onions.
skins and whatever, you can
a good
boil it
idea.
and
Put
make
it
your
in a
own.
pot.
Put it in a pot and boil it and make your own chicken. I mean,
Your
not
own
chicken,
veggie broth.
vegetable broth. That's a good idea.
Pretty easy to do, too.
Any other questions before we turn it?
And you all are welcome to come up and taste this afterwards.
Okay. All righty. We're going to pass the baton back over to Ladoris
Okay.
for the veggie chili. Is that correct?
The veggie chili is coming out.
All right. Here we go with the veggie chili.
All right. And the veggie chili has tofu.
There's that ingredient
Who
again.
said, oh, you got to taste it first.
know.
Try it
Don't
out.
try it. You
Okay,
might
so
like
it
it.
has 3 different beans. I put black beans, pinto beans, and it has kidney beans in it. And then the broth, of course, is vegetable. And instead of using a store-bought sauce, I use tomato paste because you can kind of do whatever you want with tomato
with
paste.
that.
Has no additives in it, has no sugar in it, nothing like that. So I just use the canned tomato paste to thicken it with. And I think you'll like it. And on this one, I actually added some butternut squash to give it a little bit of a turn. I think you'll like it. I like it. The tofu is just kind of like ground beef in it. I just chopped it up really, really small. Get that off your face, Monica. Try that tofu, and I think you're gonna like it. I chopped it up really, really fine, so it's just like hamburger. And I think you'll like it. They're gonna bring out some samples now. And I wanna know what you think about the squash that I added to it, because the squash gives it a whole different flavor. And I think you'll like it. And it's something that you can make so quick. I just did the regular onions, celery, onions, green peppers, garlic, in a little bit of olive oil in the pan before I started putting all my other ingredients. And it basically takes about 45 minutes to cook the whole thing. So try it out. Let me tell me what you think. I think you're gonna like it. Monica's gonna be the first one to sample.
You're not going to try my soup? Okay, be adventurous.
What the tofu type?
So I use the super firm tofu because the more firm the tofu is, the less it's not so soft, you know. And then what I do with mine is stop frowning, smiles, everybody, smiles. That's what we want to see. And what I do for mine is I cook it in the little oil until it kind of browns up a little bit, and then chop it up. I use super firm.
Super firm.
I had
So
the
it's
super firm.
And you can use the super firm in the soup if you like.
as well. But not the cream, not the what's the
Not the silky.
Not the silky. right.
I use fresh beans, but you can use canned beans are fine if that's what you like. Yeah, I just use I always cook beans, but you're welcome to use canned beans.
And there's a bean recipe from last year if you want to find another bean recipe.
All right. Yeah. Any other questions about the veggie chili that's coming up?
Huh?
Monica, you said this is a winner?
Awesome.
Thank you.
Very convinced. Change your mind
You like
about
it?
tofu.
Never know, huh? Yeah, and it's easy because after you saute the olive oil and you saute the vegetables and I sauteed the tofu, everything else is just dumping. You know, just putting the beans in, putting the sauce in, stirring it up, and just letting it cook.
6:32.
So it's not a hard meal at all. I'm sorry? Yes, I put cumin. Let me show you what I put in there if I have everything.
And the
I put-
recipe is online too.
Yeah, the recipe is online, but I put cumin, oregano, cumin, a little, these are the little red pepper flakes, a little bit of the red pepper flakes. I had garlic, onion, green pepper. It's not out here, yeah. This is seasoning salt. And you just seasoning it to your taste, but I put the chili pepper in it and the cumin, both chili pepper and cumin.
Okay.
And then just season it according to what your taste is.
Okay. Okay.
You use dry beans and cook them first, or you just?
Yes, I use regular beans. I just
like
cook
the fresh
beans.
beans.
Yeah, I cook beans.
Okay.
I let them soak the night before, and then I put them in the next day.
That's
But you
a
can
lot
use
healthier.
canned beans, just rinse them off.
Okay.
You can use canned beans, just
Cool.
rinse them off.
Cool.
Okay.
Cool.
So tofu is the stuff that looks like the ground beef.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
See?
See?
convert.
It's not bad, is it?
very good.
Yeah.
Now,
I wouldn't, yeah.
it's still out on that one.
But you haven't had
You gotta try it. Well, the whole idea is that we have to learn some new things.
We gotta learn some new
We have to learn some new ways
We gotta
of eating.
learn some new stuff.
New ways of eating.
But I can't even stick this under Lewis's nose.
And actually, I could have browned that tofu a little bit more, and it would have looked more like ground beef, and then he may not even recognize it.
And you could have done the same thing with
Yeah,
this tofu
with that,
too. You
yeah.
could have browned it and ate it with darker, but I like that.
All right, very good. Thank you so much. So let's see. Ladura
Yep.
still has the baton. She's bringing to us now some harissa butter beans.
Same thing. It's very simple. This is my little olive oil. This one is a
Cute.
smoked olive oil.
So where do you get that?
This one came from a little store down in Occoquan.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be that. It can be any olive
Any
oil,
kind.
Sometimes you
EVV,
can find
any
it at
extra
Marshall
virgin
and
olive
TJ Maxx,
oil.
too.
That's exactly right.
And so basically what I'm doing is, the same thing. You're just gonna saute everything. And this is garlic and onions.
Now, what you making this time?
It's called harissa
Butter
beans. And because I never can find butter beans, I always use baby limas. Not the big lima beans, but the baby lima beans. And so all I do is I just saute the onions. You just basically are sauteing the onions and the garlic together. Everything that we're trying to give you are things that are pretty quick for you to make. We don't want you to be having saying, I can't make that because it takes too much time. It's too many ingredients that I don't have at home. We all have onions and garlic and green peppers in our pantry usually. So basically we're just going to just saute. And I usually like to just saute my onions until they become translucent. It's very quick. You just saute the onions until they become translucent. which probably takes about 5 minutes. But I put the garlic, I chopped up the garlic previously. I've chopped everything. So the onions and the garlic together. I'm just kind of, putting them in there together. Let me get I have a whisk over here.
So, Doris, do you use dried butter beans or do you are the frozen lima beans?
Oh, these are regular beans that I soaked and cooked.
Okay.
I guess y'all know I soak and cook my beans. I don't know.
And
It's
there's
just,
you can do a quick soak of beans. You can
Boil
boil them for 2 minutes and then, let them sit and then they're
Yeah.
ready.
I just basically.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can.
And then
you
put
can do
them
a
in
quick
your pressure cooker.
So basically what I've done is just kind of sauteed the onion and the garlic together. And then I'm going to add in, these are sun-dried tomatoes. And I just chopped up the sun-dried tomatoes. These, you can get them in a package. I get the ones in a jar because they have oil and they're julienne cut. So they're kind of the long, strippy kind of cut. So I put those in, so then that's that. And you can tell that they've been in oil. That's the oil from the...
Has a lot of flavor.
Has a whole lot of flavor. And then you just kind of cook it all down. It's so, I'm telling you, this is so easy. It's so easy. We're doing quick recipes so that nobody is in the kitchen all day.
Right.
And it helps us with the excuses of why we can't cook.
Why we can't do it.
Yeah,
Right.
so
Right.
this is all really, really fast. You cook it all down.
Any kind of onion again? Or
This
just-
is,
just
I use the yellow onion,
Okay.
but you can use shallots, you can use a red onion, whatever onion is
Okay.
your taste.
Okay.
And basically, I use whatever I have in my pantry. So whatever I have is what I use
Gotcha.
for mine. All of them are, we're looking for flavor, basically, is what we're looking for. So, all right, and then I do that. And then in here, some of the things that I use for my spice, I call them the aromatics, and that is ginger. I always put a little ginger in there. And you do them, again, according to your taste. A little bit of oregano. Don't ask me how much. You have to do it according to what you like.
So do you have all these spices listed on the website?
Yes, the recipe is on the website. And then I always I like that.
a lot of, you like a lot of heat, huh?
Just put 1 spoon.
Okay.
For some people, that's a lot.
Right. Right.
This is nutritional yeast. It's sort of like some people seem to think that it gives you a cheesy flavor. I always add a little bit. I got this one at Harris Teeter, but most stores have it. Huh? Most stores have nutritional yeast. I know
Yeah.
Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's has it.
Giant.
John, I don't know
Yeah.
about John, but I know Trader Joe's has
Yeah.
it. And even though I put some garlic, I always put a little garlic powder in there. And that's it. And then what I do is I take the beans and put the beans in there. And you just stir everything up together.
Just blend it all together. Okay.
And then this is called harissa sauce.
I've seen that.
Is that hot?
This one is the mild one. They have a hot one.
So harissa is the pepper then?
Yeah. But it's not, I didn't get the hot one. It's in the aisle where
Like maybe
the international spices are, over on that aisle. That's usually where it is. Huh? They have it at where? Oh, they do? Okay.
At Kava,
She said Kava. Kava has
the
it.
salad place.
Okay.
Yeah. So then you just take it and stir it all up together. And you just kind of, I let it cook down though.
See, I would have never thought about adding ginger to my butter beans.
Oh yeah.
But I bet that's amazing.
It's amazing.
I bet it is.
And then I don't have any pepper out here.
Black
But I do
pepper
have a
or
little bit of
just-
salt. Yeah, but usually I put salt and pepper in there.
Okay.
And again, that's just to season it according to your taste.
Okay.
And then after I put in the sauce, I just go ahead and add my can of coconut milk.
Okay.
And that makes it nice and creamy. And you just let it cook down, maybe 15 minutes or so. Just let it kind of bubble up and cook
looks
till it
delicious.
bubbles up. And then it's ready to eat. It's not like you've got to let this cook and simmer for hours. You don't have to.
Right. So when Monica goes to the store to get your coconut milk,
She
you
can
can
get-
get a can for the soup and a can for the beans.
And she can go over to that next aisle and
And
get
get
the
the
harissa sauce.
And get
See?
2 things of tofu.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
Okay.
All right.
And that's all. And so, we always have to have a little bit of, what I always tell my kids, gotta have something green.
Yeah.
And this is just some kale. This is kale mixed with some Swiss chard and baby spinach.
Ah.
So, I mean, this is full of nutrients. You can eat this by itself, and I mean, you're gonna be full. The beans give us a lot of fiber.
Right.
You don't have to worry about that. The beans give you a lot of fiber. And one quick note that I'll give you about cooking beans, usually, because people say a lot of times, they say, I didn't get gas, but I've learned that if you take that first water off your
boil it,
bean when you're boiling it, dump that water off. And I do that a couple of times when I'm cooking my beans, and that's where the gases are released in those first waters that you cook.
Okay.
There's an
All right.
enzyme on the
Yeah.
coating of the beans.
On the beans.
That's
So if
what
you can get
causes
that
the-
water off, then,
Okay.
So we're all done, and as soon as this is ready in a couple more minutes, we'll be giving you a sample of this as
All
well.
right.
And,
Okay.
and someone asked a question about iron. I'm making sure to get enough protein. This is a protein pack right here.
Yeah,
The
that was
beans are high in
Linda.
protein.
Yep.
So when you cook your beans, you cook them in just water or?
Yes, I just cook them in water.
But you could
You
make
can
your
add
own
broth
chicken
to
broth.
them.
I mean, chicken
Yeah, I
broth.
usually use
Vegetable
chicken broth, but I mean, during this season, you could use vegetable broth.
Just a vegetable broth.
Just for the seasoning. But yeah, generally I cook my beans in chicken broth, not in water.
Okay. Cool.
Okay?
Cool.
So that's that.
All right.
And we'll have samples of this very shortly.
Absolutely, absolutely. We are moving forward back over to Dolores with the portobello mushrooms, with the quinoa brown rice.
Okay.
Oh my
Portobello
gosh.
mushrooms are like a fake steak, in my opinion. And so when you have a portobello mushroom, I like to scoop out the gills. Now, it's a preference because I just think it's dirty, but some people like the gills. So if you do, you want to make sure that you clean the mushrooms well. And so mushrooms will absorb water, so you might want to do this a little bit in advance. Get a really damp cloth, and you're going to rub them vigorously on both sides and then pat them dry with some paper towels. And so you put the mushrooms, we're going to marinate these. And so if we had time, if you could do this overnight, it tastes even better. But even if you've got 15 or 20 minutes, it's a great marinade. And so what we're going to add to a plastic bag is just some olive oil, okay? And you can decide what your favorite profiles are. And of course, always use extra virgin olive oil. And you want to make sure it's in a dark container because the dark containers, and you keep it in the refrigerator if you're really smart, to maintain all of the healthy properties that are in olive oil. Because that's rosemary that I added, and this is some soy sauce, and I usually get the low sodium soy sauce. And this is some, that's my favorite seasoning, this applewood seasoning, when I add some of that grill-made applewood seasoning. I like savory things. Yes, it's Grill Mates, okay? And then I add a little bit of black pepper. I'm not a red pepper fan, I don't like things too hot, okay? And I add a little bit of thyme. I love thyme. I like savory kinds of things. And then lastly, my favorite also is some garlic. Now you can use garlic powder or fresh garlic, okay? Either is okay.
There you go.
And then we're gonna shake some liquid smoke in there to give it a little smoky taste.
You love liquid smoke?
I
Yes, you
love
do.
liquid
Yes, you
smoke.
do.
I like that. And then we're gonna just seal the bag, and you're just gonna kind of massage it around a little bit. The longer this sits, kind of the better. And these are kind of big mushrooms, so I maybe add a little bit more oil to this, just so that all of those flavors kind of marinate. Okay, and then while that's marinating for a second, I like this. You can get this at Aldi. And this is a quinoa brown rice kind of a mixture. And so you open it up, and I usually saute some garlic and some onions and my favorite savory seasonings, like some thyme, I add some thyme to it, or I add some fresh rosemary if that's what you like, or sage. And you open it up, you put it in the pan, you stir fry it around a little bit, add a little bit of water to it, and it's a meal almost by itself for me. I could eat this almost by itself, but it's a nice complement to the mushroom. And then once this has had a chance to marinate, and ideally about 20 minutes is probably a good idea if you're in a hurry, or if you do this in the morning, you'd have it ready by the time you get home in the evening. And then you just literally kind of pan sear it. And these are really big. Both of them might not fit. Okay. And I like a lot of seasoning, so seasonings add profile.
You mentioned about cutting out the gills or something like that. Okay, so I don't know that much about mushrooms, especially not this size mushroom. So what are the gills? Just the piece that's
They
like
look
the
they look
stem?
like they look like gills, like for lack of a better explanation. I have an extra one back in the back if somebody wants to go and get it, so I can show you what they look like. But
Do
then
you all
just
know
put
what the
it-
gills are? Maybe everybody knows. Okay, well then.
Gonna get one.
Okay.
You can go and get one. Yes, and so basically I added a little bit of oil. You can, if you want to do without any oil, you can just get you a good nonstick pan. Of course, everybody, I hope you have a good nonstick pan. And you're just going to saute these on both sides until they reach the your desired tenderness. And these are actually like a steak, and you can cook them like a steak. And you can serve it with some steak sauce if you want, cut them. Of course, a no sugar steak sauce. You want to make sure you read all the labels. The most important part for success in this fast is planning. You can't decide Sunday morning that you're going to fast. Okay, my hands are, I'll let you take one out because I don't want my hands to get dirty. Take it out and turn it over so you can
In
see.
the bottom.
Yeah. And so they come kind of
those
looking like
little-
that.
Oh, okay.
And so you want to kind of scoop that part out.
The little brownish dark, yeah. I
Look
never,
like little fins.
yeah, I never knew that was called gills. Okay, all right.
And maybe it's not called a gills. I call it gills.
Well, I don't know. We'll go with that. We'll call it that.
So I like rosemary. It's one of my favorite seasonings too. I like if you like savory things. But you can choose to just do this with garlic and salt and pepper. And what's nice about this is that it's filling. You want something that's going to help fill you up. I had a gentleman that was really sad. I was talking to him Sunday, and he said, well, I don't think I'm going to do the Daniel fast this time because I was so hungry, I thought I was going to pass out and croak. And I said, and if you're somebody who does really heavy work, you want to make sure that you eat enough calories and complex carbohydrates so that you have the energy that you need to carry you throughout the day. It's a fast, it's not a starvation.
Right.
You know, and so you want to make sure that you're getting enough nutrients too, especially protein and iron, okay? And all of you should know at least one plant that's high in protein. Broccoli. Okay? There's some other vegetables that are high in protein too, like asparagus is high, okay?
Is this an expensive mushroom?
I think this was about $5 for the package, and there were 4 in there. And so, and then you can slice these up and serve them, okay? Ideally, if I had a lot of time, I would just let these keep on cooking until they're nice and brown. And you can trick yourself into thinking this is a steak.
There you go.
The way that you cut it depends on how you cut it.
There's a question over here with
Yes,
us.
ma'am.
Are they getting mushy or are they staying?
No, they're nice and firm. They're staying nice and firm.
Still
If you
firm.
like mushy, you can cook them a little bit more, or you can add a little bit of water to the pan and put a lid on it so that it'll steam a little more. I turn them over and over again. That's just me. I like to do that.
They
but you
look
don't have to.
delicious. They look delicious. All right.
All right.
Okay.
So I'm going to let these keep going a little bit.
Okay.
And maybe we need to kind of shift it over out of the way. I'd like for it to cook a little bit more. And then you could sample this later if you would like to. I like to cook it a little bit more. But
You ready to move over to the sweet potato brownie?
yes.
Okay.
And I'm just
All
going to
right.
shift it over here out of the way. All right.
Have you ever added sweet potatoes to your brownies? Okay, are you all acting like you don't make brownies? Okay.
Usually they probably kind of come in the box, right?
Actually, I don't make many things, but I have added sweet potatoes to make brownies, and it was delicious. It was delicious. So I was very excited when I saw this on the list today.
Okay, and so of course the key ingredient is a sweet potato. And you want to roast your sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes are delicious without anything on them. We don't have to have candied yams. We can just have a roasted sweet potato because they're naturally sweet. And this is a trick for parchment paper. If you're trying to get parchment paper to fit into a container, ball it up. And it'll conform to the shape of the pan. We're going to do two things at once here. Oops. Okay. I don't want those to burn. Okay, so we're going to add our sweet potatoes. And you want to,
60.
1 large sweet potato for this recipe. And you should be getting a sample of this. And I made them fudgy-like, but if you like cake-like brownies, you can add to this a flaxseed egg. And somebody asked me, well, what's a flaxseed egg? It's 1 tablespoon of flaxseed mixed with 2.5 tablespoons or 3 tablespoons of water, and you let it sit for about 5 minutes. And it thickens. And then you add that to whatever it is that you want to thicken, and it will thicken it so that they're more cake-like, if that's what you like. But I like gooey. So I'm just gonna, this wasn't a huge sweet potato, but usually I have a bigger sweet potato. I don't think I put enough in here. This is just for the demonstration purposes. Okay. Get this out of the way. And these are, again, easy recipes, things you can just mix and pour, All right. All right. Okay, we have to have some cocoa powder if we're going to have brownies, right? So we're going to just mix and pour. No special order to this. It really doesn't matter. We have some vanilla extract. And you can add more or less if you like a lot of vanilla. This is almond flour, which is very healthy, minimally. This is not something that's processed, severely processed like white flour. These mushrooms are smelling good. We're going to add some baking powder because we want it to rise up a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit of salt, pinch of salt. Okay. We have some melted coconut oil. Okay. Add that. And we have to give it a little bit of sweetness, right? So the sweetness comes from the maple syrup. And maple syrup is something that we can have on the Daniel fast because it comes right from the tree and it hasn't been processed. All right? Okay. Now, if you like, if you're somebody who really likes nuts, you can add nuts to the recipe.
Okay.
And so you should have a sample of that. Okay, I stir this up a little bit. And then I'll get my mixer here to mix it some more. Uh-oh, I'm putting it. That was smart. Okay, put that back up. Okay, there. Just make sure it's nice and smooth. Okay, so you'll see what it looks like. And then you put it in the pan.
While Dolores is doing that, is there anything we could do to move our cauliflower
Yes,
things along?
we can.
Okay,
They can.
okay.
We can do those
All right.
for sampling, and then we can start on the pears. I've
Okay.
started
All
the
right,
pears.
that's
Okay,
it.
okay.
Anybody have any questions about that? Okay, there we
good?
go. Yep.
Okay. All right.
And then you just pop it in the oven and bake it on 350 for about 25 to 30 minutes. Yes. It's in and every ingredient that you need and the amounts are.
Lucinda. What about add-ons, like
Samples.
unsweetened coconut flakes or
You can.
walnuts? unless you have
Walnuts or
some nut
pecans. All of those things are yummy additions.
Raisins.
If you like raisins,
Yeah,
if you like them. Macadamia nuts.
yeah,
Brazil nuts.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
ready
any
for
questions about
And
this?
it rises up.
And it is very good, I've had it, so Actually, I think I haven't even made like regular brownies since I was introduced to the sweet potato brownie. So, trying to do better. We're going to move over now. Thank you so much, Dolores. We're moving back over to Ladores.
Right.
She's going to bring to us a pear dessert. We have about 5 minutes before. Yes. Yes. Flaxseed
A
egg.
flaxseed
There's no
egg.
egg from the chicken.
No.
Egg.
And so I didn't put any in these brownies because I like them chewy, so it's like fudge. That's almost like fudge. But if you want cake-like brownies, you add that flaxseed egg. And that's 1 tablespoon of flaxseed and 2.5 tablespoons or 3 tablespoons of water. And you let it sit for 5 minutes, and then you add it.
The maple syrup that was here. That was right here.
Oh,
She
which
used
one?
it.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll put it in.
All right.
All right.
Any other questions about the brownies? Okay. All right.
All right, so for the sake of time, this is just one of the most simple things that you can have as far as a dessert. Pears are very good for you. They have a lot of fiber in them. They keep you very full when you eat them.
Absolutely.
They're sweet on their own, but sometimes when you want a little something sweet, I will do the pears. And so these are just Bosc pears that I have cut in half, and all I do is bake them, and I just drizzle some maple syrup over them. That's your whole dessert.
Yeah. Maybe
Very, very, very quick.
some cinnamon,
And
maybe.
you can put any, you could put, if you want to mix up a little bit of vanilla in there to go in there to give it a little bit of an extra boost.
Yeah.
But it's so easy because, you know, while you're cooking, you're preparing your dinner, then all you got to do is put these in the oven, and by the time your dinner is done, then you got your dessert ready. Very easy. Just, huh?
The
I
skin
left the
was
skin
on.
on. Yeah. Face down, put the skin on, and then as they get ready, closer to being done, then you go ahead and you put the drizzle of maple syrup on them.
The only other thing I wanted to mention, and you're going to get a sample of this if you would like, and I'm not going to show you how to make them, is you should get a peanut butter cookie, okay? And there's no butter, and they are yummy peanut butter cookies. And so I keep these in my freezer, so when I want something, you know, sweet to eat that's pretty healthy, I eat a couple of them. And they're so yummy, you have to be careful. I made some and gave it to a friend, and she wanted to eat them all. I wanted to give you a few tips about how to preserve your fruits and vegetables, because I was sharing these with some of the other ladies in the Pound-a-thon. And yes, you can still sign up for the Pound-a-thon. And that's one of the benefits of being on a Daniel fast, is you probably will lose some weight if you follow the fast to the letter. But fresh berries usually go bad in the refrigerator in 3 or 4 days. You can make your fresh berries last for about 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. You buy the fresh berries and you put them in a mason jar, okay? And I got mine from IKEA. I like it because it has a flip top lid on it. But you need a jar that has a seal to it. You put them in there, don't wash them. Put them in there right out of the store, and you take out what you need and wash them as you use it. And they will last at least 2 weeks and sometimes 3 weeks. Grapes will last for almost 4 weeks. You just put them in there and seal them up and take out your fruits and vegetables. And you can put celery in foil. If you want to preserve your celery, wrap it in some aluminum foil. If you want to preserve your peppers, wrap them in aluminum foil and put them in the refrigerator. And once they start to get a little soft, put them in the freezer. You can still use the peppers after they've been frozen. They're usually a little bit mushy, and they're better for cooking once you put them in the freezer. The same thing with carrots. You can put carrots in the mason jars, and that helps to keep them for a long time. Fresh spinach. If you get fresh spinach that comes in a bag, open up the bag and put a paper towel down in there, and then close it back up. Not wet, a dry paper towel so that it absorbs some of the moisture, and it'll last longer. Make sure you put all your veggies. If you have a vegetable drawer, put them in the drawer, because that, again, you're keeping the moisture down. Bananas, I'd never throw out a banana, okay? If it starts to get dark, put it in the freezer. You can use it for pancakes, smoothies, oatmeal, lots of different ways you can use it. So never throw out a banana, or banana breads. And so hopefully I can put up a banana bread recipe before the fast is over.
What about like cilantro and parsley?
Wrap all of those in, I wrap them in paper towels and then some aluminum foil.
Okay. All
then
right.
these are-
Okay. All right. I think we're getting the we're done kind of sign here. So that means we are done. Literally, right? So thank you so much for coming. We hope that you have been inspired. We hope that if you were on the fence about the Daniel plan and the Daniel fast, rather, that you have now made up your mind to join us for these 21 days and beyond. Please give it up for these amazing ladies. They are outstanding. Please go to the website. You can see all the things from last year. You can see all the info from this year. That should be there in a couple of days, according to Wayne Jackson. So thank you so much. God bless you. And we hope you enjoyed.